Hi, I want to talk about crisis in Venezuela and maybe some other European countries or anywhere in the world that have crisis. I think the first thing that Venezuelan government has to do is uh, to help people with food because that's the first one. People have to eat every day without adequate food and water. That's a big problem they're having right now. So some people are actually migrating to neighboring countries, which is very sad. Besides, sanctioned by the U.S. and oil prices and mismanagement of the country development, maybe they rely too much on oil export. Like a one peg, one it's only one main source, and if there's anything affect the price of oil or sanction or anything like that, then it's not helping. So what I'm suggesting the government to do is to promote urban farming for people by providing training, seeds, and some material. They can do it right now to minimize the impact of food shortage. There's a lot of crops or vegetables that they can grow, which will give them yield within like a month or so, and then they can do mix of maturity dates, meaning some fruits, or I'm talking about mainly vegetables. Fruit will take more time. That will give you crops every month or every 2 months or 3 months, so you can mix it up and you don't need to use a lot of land. So I think people have to realize, and the government had to realize, that is the fundamentally sustainable way of providing food, that people have to know how to grow this food in small spaces and they can barter, of course, with the farmer with a lot of land. They can continue to grow with available resources they have. And also I would recommend them to, if they don't have enough water, to dig some big ponds every wherever they can do it. If you have a good piece of land, to catch water and to use that for your vegetable plots and things like that. You can grow them in pots as well. Of course, you cannot grow everything, so you can barter or exchange crops with your neighbors. That will minimize the food shortage in the long term, and short term and long term. So instead of waiting for, of course, they also want foreign governments to, UN or whatever, to help them out. But that is something they can start right now. Right now, with even country in Africa, they can do that with some techniques. They might not have a lot of land, so they can grow food in containers or potatoes in big pots, and things like that. There are many techniques that we can do now with limited space, So the government have to really work hard on ensure food security, at least to a certain extent, and and also I'm also talking about raising chickens for eggs, and raising fish in maybe big barrels, like tilapia can live in big barrel, or even dig a little pond or whatnot, or have a little bit of big container, to start grow, raising tilapia and things like that. So I think that's the focus. They should do it now, so the crops will be available within a month or a few months later. Is a shift of mentality that people have to grab, And also the second part is to reuse whatever limited resource they have, to turn it into, to maintain their house, their homes. Learn how to reuse material and learn how to fix stuff, even though they might be short on. I hope they still have enough gasoline to drive the car or something, since they're rich in oil. But they should be able to be very self-sufficient during this crisis, to learn how to fix things, how to live with limited resources, and to protect themselves. Maybe they need guns and things like that, because of people stealing from each other and looting and things like that. So I think food security is number one, that the government can do this sort of urban farming and help the people out. There's a lot of techniques, you can look it up on YouTube. So I hope Venezuelan people will follow my advice, and I will do a second part later. I have a lot of things to say. We need to be self-sufficient because the economy comes up and down. So, I'm very happy that a lot of people like preppers, they're doing all of this already. And actually, I'm gonna be stocking more food and start my garden again. Last summer wasn't too bad, too good. I didn't have a lot of crop. I have some tomatoes, but young people need to really learn how to do this the old ways. When we had pretty much nothing, we are like pioneers. That we have to start raising, our food, or growing food ourselves, be self-sufficient in this way. You can avoid or minimize financial crisis. And I think it's a mindset that people now have to go back, because we're running out of resources, and financial market very unstable, and we can be due for, we will be due for another big crash, especially in US, I believe, if we're not changing the course of politics and economy, or reduce the debt, and at the same time invest in something like renewable energy that will give us more energy independent and food independent, and become more self-sufficient, using less money to do more things. Because right now we're just throwing money at things. People are just throwing money at stuff that they don't even need. You gotta ask yourself, do I really need this stuff, or just it's nice to have so I can become like this rich John or whatever, or my neighbor? It doesn't make sense. Everybody different, and one thing that I learned is that ask yourself before you buy anything: is that necessary? Is it needed? Once in a while you might want to buy a nice thing for yourself, but in general, try to not use money unless it's necessary, and use some of the means to come up with the solutions. So anyway, hope it helps, and we'll talk to you on the next video on Venezuela crisis. Bye for now.